G'day fellas, and welcome to a build order breakdown. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a build order that you can use to climb the ladder, and I assure you, it is available from the noobs to the pros. This is an insanely good build order with the Ottomans, a really easy to use civ. I was talking about it with a bunch of friends, and they were saying, no, it's hard to use. I don't think so. I think the Ottomans are super duper easy. Let's get into it. We're going to start by queuing up 5 or 4 villages in our town center and sending out our villagers to stone, and we're going to make sure one villager is going to food. Let's begin. All right, queue up the town center. Everyone out to stone, one villager to food, and move the sheep across. We're also going to just grab these 2 sheep. Hey, that's not how you path right there, scout. Did you guys see that scout right there trying to path like that? And we're going to immediately go to the front of our base once we've secured that. So these guys are going to go and grab some stone for us. And what we're going to be doing here is a bit of an early aggression. Now, you can do this strategy against every single civilization at the moment on any single map. It doesn't matter. If there is one strategy you are going to learn, make it this strategy because this is an insanely strong strategy. So now we're going to take these guys and let's go out like that. And one here. You're going to go over there. So yeah, if there's one strategy that you could learn right now, if you're new to the game and you know, you still haven't really decided on the civ or anything like that, I would say learn this strategy and you're going to get really, really good quickly with it if you just practice this. Because as I said, you can pretty much do it, you know, on every single map, in every single matchup. It's a really, really good one. So with our scout, we're just scouting around our base, just looking to find any potential sheep. That's all we care about right now is just the starting sheep. So there should be 5 that we have. All right, and we're rallying to food. That's going to be a key factor here. And we're collecting 150 wood. So you can see us right now. So we're going to be using 50 of that wood for a house, 50 of that wood for a lumber camp, and 50 of that wood going to be for a mining camp as well. Now, the way that we time this is, it's a little bit weird. So we go to 10 villages on food, and then we go out to gold. And the reason why is because we actually want a lot of villagers on gold, and we want to minimize our walking distance. So the sooner that we can have those villagers, oh, you guys need to be out over here. And so with that, he's going to be able to do that. So the idea is that we want lots of villagers on gold, but we don't want them to have to be walking from the wood line over to the gold and back to the wood, all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're just going to send a whole bunch out there towards the end of our age up, and that's essentially the idea. So we're gonna get our second ville out there now, and then finally our sheep coming through. Now we're gonna go scout out the enemy. Now this part's optional, you don't have to do this. It's probably a bit more of an advanced part to the build order, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go be aggressive against our enemy. Now in this game we're playing up against the Rus, so we're gonna be looking at hitting their stone because they typically want to go for that second town center. So we're gonna send our spearmen out onto the map, into the world, to go and look for something to hit potentially. And so now as we begin moving out across the map, we are looking for the gold or the stone, depends on which one, but typically going to be on the opposite end of the map, making sure we've got villagers queued up. Now we want 4 on gold, and then we're going out to wood after that. So 10 on food, 4 on gold, and there we can see. So that's where the enemy town center is. We know where the enemy town center is, so we can now rally our units with safety. Now we will get a pretty decent age up time with this as well. We're going to be using 5 villagers to age up. So scout back there. Oh, got to make sure we move these sheep in a little bit closer so that they don't all get killed too far away. All right, there's the gold, so we'll just go for that. I think he's got stone down here as well, so we've got a beautiful double whammy. This is amazing whenever this happens to you. And now you can see we are starting to struggle a little bit. So I'm going to grab 5 villagers. I'm going to make my twin minaret madrasa. Going to make sure that I pull these guys back. I don't want them to fight. I just want them to be distracting the enemy. And now I'm also going to be dropping down another house. So you can see that we're just about to get housed. That's why we collected that 150 wood. And so with this now, we're still collecting plenty of gold. We're looking to collect up to 250 gold. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to be getting early upgrades. And so the idea here is that we want to try and take advantage of the fact that we just want to stay on one town center. We're not too interested in getting additional town centers, and because of that, we're going to try and use or get as much value as we can out of the villagers that we've got from that one town center. It looks like the villagers from gold have left the building. Looks like we might have a little sheep delivery coming in. Now remember, we want 250 gold. After we've got 250 gold, then we're going to be moving our villagers off gold. We're going to be bringing them over across to... I think we actually sent them out to stone for a little bit as well, but we'll be bringing them onto wood as well in a little bit. So you can see now we're slowly getting towards that. Still down here, working our magic. All right, so that should be 250, 3, 2, 1. That should be it. So now we'll go over to stone. So we're just going to collect 100 stone. And now with these guys, going to just drop them off as we're about to age up, because these 5 vills are all going to go over onto the berry landmark. Let's put that one down. Now we could have actually made our mining camp a little bit better. Where are you guys going? Get over there. All right, and so straight as soon as we age up one, let's not get that one. Let's get that one, double broadaxe. And so what we're doing now is really focusing on that big economy. We're getting both of our upgrades nice and early, wheelbarrow and double broadaxe. And the idea here is that we're really going to be pushing out a lot of military units. So here I'm going to be dropping down an archery range. Make sure we queue up villagers. Getting housing here as well. So we want 100 stone. Once we've got 100 stone, then we're just going to leave 1 villager on our stone. So that's about to happen. So now that's going to start making... we're going to pull 2 vills now here. I think we'll try and do that. It's not the prettiest. All right, so we're just going to leave just that 1 villager. Now we're going to start rallying out to food. In fact, we can probably just rally to our sheep. Bring that back. And we want to switch this guy over onto Spahi now. So let's cancel that. Go over Spahi. And we're also going to drop down our blacksmith. Make sure we get him nice and close in. All right, and so behind this, we're now making archers. And so the idea is that we want to get so many archers. It's all about big archer balls here. That is not archer bull, that is archer balls. So we might actually just rally over to food, try and exhaust this a little bit faster. And our first point is going to come in. We're going to be going with meta drums. And we want to make sure that we're keeping all of our units together in the same group. And that's the great thing about the Ottomans, is you can just kind of put everything together in the same group. Don't have to worry too much about it. I mean, obviously you do want to try and micro as well. But now the units begin coming out, and we are just pumping out units non-stop. And from here, it's very easy, very simple, because all we're doing is keeping a nice balance of villagers on food, villagers on wood, replacing our wood camps, and just making archers. That's it. We've got both of our military schools here. These guys are both going to be on Spahi for the rest of the game. And the third one that comes in, that will be going onto the meta. But for the moment, you just chill out, because this is where your mass starts to build. You can see we've still got those archers in queue. And we might want to start adding, villagers over to gold as well, because we're going to need to start thinking about upgrades. But before we do that, we're just going to keep throwing down more archery ranges. You can see we're getting a little bit over the top with it here, but our macro is very nice and balanced. Super duper easy build order to pull off. Very hard to stuff up this build order, because you're quite safe. Your enemy's not going to be really applying too much pressure towards you at early stages of the game. And it allows you to build up a pretty decent mass, as you can see right here. And then we can take this mass and we can convert this into a very strong timing push. Now, it looks like our berries just respawned right there. So we're going to make sure that we go up. We always want to exhaust our berries as quickly as possible. Adding in more houses. And 3 archery ranges. It's going to be more than enough for now. So we'll just leave it on that. And now you can see how big our mass is really starting to get. And it's starting to look a bit scary, right? Like, you push an enemy with this kind of unit mass, and they're going to have problems. So it is definitely a nice strategy to open. Now, once you've got that 100 stone, you can stop gathering the stone. So something small to think about, because you are going to be needing to drop down the next one. Sometimes your macro can be a little bit off, so always try and balance out your food and your wood. You want to try and keep that those two working together, and making sure that they are balanced. But then now we're moving towards those upgrades. Now, when it comes to upgrades, you could probably move villagers over a little bit faster. You can see right now we're starting to stack up that wood quite a bit. This is the consequence of me having that poor macro. But what will be happening is we'll be moving into a battering ram timing push here. So, you know, we're pushing out. We probably shouldn't be pushing out without +1. But let's move some more villagers over onto gold at this point. You can probably move these guys over a little bit earlier. You can see we're still just pumping out archers, trying to keep as many as we can in queue. Super duper easy though. And from here, we can now get siege engineering in. With siege engineering on the way, that's when the push really starts to begin. You know, we're applying pressure to the front. We're just playing with our food at this point. But we got a little bit of a counter attack over here. Let's pull our units back here. Just make sure that he's going ham. Look at that. So with that, obviously, this is not part of the build order. Getting raided with spearmen like that. Let's pull these spears and make them move a little bit. And we'll get everybody back to work now. Well, that guy's still getting attacked. Oh, did we move our archers away? We must have moved our archers away. All right, well, our upgrades now come through. We're looking to get +1. We're going to drop down a single battering ram because we're going to need the wood to do something else, and that is get our next military school in. So now we're going to get our 3rd military school in. We're going to make sure that we drop this one down in the best spot that we've got. That's a good spot over there. Normally, you'd want to avoid having them on the front line, but I think in playing this kind of game where you're on the aggressive, I think it's kind of safe. It's quite safe to do it. And that's essentially it. Now you can see we're just going to be looking to pick up the rest of the upgrades, and that's it. So we'd look to push. Typically, you'd want to go with more than 1 battering ram, so you'd maybe want to do 2 or 3. We did get a little bit interrupted here, but I will forgive the AI for interrupting our perfect little build order there with some spearmen. But that's essentially what it looks like. The Ottoman build order, the Ottoman opening. I've got chat here at the moment. I'm going to open the floor to questions if you've got any questions about the way that we play it from here or the way that we transition. In fact, we can talk about some of the ways that you can transition out of this and the best way to do it. So the power spikes for the Ottomans are going to be that mid-feudal timing push, as well as early castle is their other timing push. About 2 minutes after they age up, which is when they get their first mangonel, that's a big spike for them. So those are the pushes or the timings that you're going to be looking for. So ideally, you might want to stay in the castle age for, 16, 17 minutes. Try and look to surround your enemy and then start talking or start thinking about that age up potentially. So it's basically, I can see Incog in the chat saying it's basically the Chinese build order, except it's easy to pull off. And that's exactly it, right? It's super easy to pull off. I mean, it's not as easy as like the French 7 to food, 3 to gold, that sort of thing, but it's still pretty easy, right? Like you don't have to deal with imperial officials or anything like that. So it makes it, it's quite simple. There are a lot of things we didn't talk about in there that probably go down to more of the intricacies of the civilization, but I will refer you guys to Beastie Cutie's video, if you haven't watched it already, the Ottoman overview that he just did where he talked a whole bunch about it. So I would refer you to Beastie. Make sure you check him out, another YouTuber, a great creator. And yeah, I guess we'll leave it right there. Pandemonium in the chat asking, doesn't mass horsemen beat this though? Yes, it does, which is why it's imperative that we scout the enemy. We didn't really talk too much about scouting, but yes. And we can always drop down a barracks. We can always switch our military schools from Sparhi over to Spearmen. But yes, mass horsemen will beat archers. That is, that's the counter system. But, ideally we'd look to try and scout that out before it actually happens. Incog saying, it can be tricky to get a critical mass of horsemen versus this, and then you can always weave in spearmen. And that's exactly it. It's the weave in spearmen or the wove in spearmen that make it so tricky to deal with a strategy like this, because once they come in, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, and there's a big mass of archers that are getting their movement speed boosted by the meta, it makes it very difficult. If you didn't waste your spearmen, your Dark Age spearmen. Yeah, well, you're always going to try and keep your Dark Age spearmen alive. Remember that even if you try and be aggressive with them, you don't want to fight the enemy. You just want to annoy the enemy. But yeah. Burgrave Rush just absolutely beats Blast this, right? No, it doesn't. A lot of people don't realize how good the... a lot of people don't realize how good the Ottomans are against Burgrave Rush because of the meta. The meta gives an extra 2 melee armor. So you can just go full cav and spear against it. I mean, obviously, it depends on your map, it depends on your matchup, but against a Burgrave Rush, if that's what you scout, then very happily you can switch into full Horseman Spearman and just put the meta on melee armor. And as long as you're on one base, you should be able to defend it. All right, well, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's going to be it. A short video, a quick video, but hopefully that gives you a bit of insight to a strategy that is slowly but steadily taking over the ladder. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.